the speakers that spoke before, thank you for your wisdom. I needed it. And we're all looking forward to James after me. So hang in there, James. Yeah. By the way, it was 2001. My company's 25 years old now. But no worries, it's all good. Yeah, there's no quiz at the end of the session. So let's go on a journey together. Are you ready? All right. If I press the right buttons here, let's see. I think everyone has to figure out the buttons. No? Ah, there we go. All right. I don't think this is a surprise for anyone in the room, but the standards for customer service are rising, and AI is already improving parts of the customer experience. There we go. In January, at a CX event here in Athens, the head of CX for Moody's shared with us that they had increased their Net Promoter Score by 20 points, and they attributed that entire increase to AI. I personally don't think AI will replace all of our customer service people, but I strongly believe that it raises the standards for all our customer service people, in part because all the simpler inquiries are disappearing. So what does that leave left for our people? The more complex and the more emotional inquiries. That's what they have to handle now. I came across a recent case study for IKEA. Maybe you've seen it too, but let me share it with you. IKEA's chatbot named Billy can now handle 47% of all incoming inquiries to IKEA contact centers and customer service folks, which means that when workforce management sits down and recalculates the number of people required, they could technically eliminate thousands and thousands of positions. But IKEA did something different. They asked, what are those inquiries that Billy cannot handle? And when they did their research, guess what IKEA customers wanted? Interior design help. So what IKEA did is they sat and looked at all the skills their people had, and frankly, they also looked at the standard at which people were delivering those skills. And based on the answer to the skills questions, IKEA decided to reskill all of the people. Apparently, nobody was let go, is how the case study goes. They all were converted into interior designers, and it's now become a paid service for IKEA. They have created new revenue using existing contact center people. I think that's amazing. We should have high standards for customer service. Thank goodness that IKEA had high standards for customer service. I think that was behind the reskilling decision by management. But I don't think high standards alone are enough. I think we need something else. Standards tell us what good looks like, but not how to help people achieve them. That's something different. In order to do that, we need something called devotion, especially because these customer inquiries are becoming more complex and more emotional. So what I want to show you here is called the Standards and Devotion Matrix. And what it does is it looks at how a leader is perceived by the people they lead. It's coming from the point of view of the employee. So let's look at the vertical axis. We have standards. Are you seen as a leader with higher standards, or are you seen as a leader with lower standards? On the horizontal axis, we have devotion. Are you seen as a leader with higher devotion to someone's success, or a leader with lower devotion to someone's success? The sweet spot in this matrix is the justice quadrant. Here, you are perceived as a leader with high standards and with high devotion. You know what your people say? Yeah, boss, you have high expectations of me, and you're committed to my success. That's an amazing thing. Shall we take a look at the other quadrants? You have a choice? Not really. I'm in charge. Here we go. Fidelity. Well, with fidelity, we have high devotion. Yes, boss, you support me, but we have low standards. I'm not learning anything here. I'm not growing. Let's go up to the severity quadrant. Here we have high standards. Yes, boss, you expect a lot from me, but we have low devotion, but you don't really support me or prepare me for the future. And we have another quadrant, neglect. With neglect, we have low standards and low devotion, but guess what? Nobody in this room falls in this quadrant, right? You wouldn't be here if you were in that quadrant. Now, can I go back to the justice quadrant for a moment? You'll notice when I introduced it, I did not say the trade-off between high standards and devotion. I did not talk about balancing. There is no balance here. You want to be seen as a leader with high standards, and you want to be seen as a leader who is devoted to someone's success. It's important that you're going for both. So, if devotion is about preparing people for success, what is it that we should prepare them for? And I think today we've heard some wonderful ideas. And if we had time to go around the audience here, every single person, you would hear fantastic initiatives and programs and plans to prepare people for the future, to prepare people for now, and to prepare them to succeed in the future. Let me tell you what I would like to talk about. Today, I would like to talk about preparing people for those situations that are more difficult and more emotional, because that seems to be an ever-increasing part of the job. Now, before I get into this part in the audience participation, let me share a difficult customer story from my own life. When I was in university, I worked the night shift at a 5-star hotel in California, which is where I'm from. And one night at 3 o'clock in the morning, a very famous Hollywood actress drove up in her silver Rolls Royce because she was ready to check into her suite. Unfortunately, don't you love that word? Unfortunately, her suite was not available because somebody on the earlier shift had sold her room to somebody else. We only had one room left on the property, and that room had a Murphy bed. You know what a Murphy bed is? Very old-fashioned, right? It's a bed that folds down out of the wall or out of a closet. That's the room I had to take her to. By the way, she starred in Dynasty. I won't name you which one she was, but she was one of the Dynasty ones. There I am at 3 o'clock in the morning, pulling a bed down in front of on the floor in front of a Dynasty actress. You should have seen her face. I don't know who was more in shock, me or she, right? I'll never forget it. And when I think about the management of this hotel, can I tell you where they land on that matrix? They had very high standards. They expected us to perform miracles, but they had very low devotion because they never prepared us or even supported us for a situation like this. So when I graduated and they offered me to join the management program, I said, no, thank you, because I could feel what the leadership was like. All right. When you face a difficult customer situation, and I share this when I teach customer service people, I always say to them, I think the first step is to decide which kind of situation you're in. They're different. And here are the 3 categories we cover: abusive customers, irritating customers, and unhappy customers. Today we'll just do the first 2. You ready? All right. This becomes the audience participation part, because in a moment I'm going to ask you to answer this question, and I'll tell you how to do it in just a moment. When I'm working with frontline folks on difficult customer situations, I ask them this question every single time. I'll say, can you guys tell me what behaviors abusive customers bring into the world? Or if you want to put it another way, what is it they say or what is it they do? Now, I'm going to look at the technical team up here because we have a Slido application where you can actually input your answers directly into the app. And in theory, it should run by on the screen so we can all see what you put. So we're going to do the test first, so go ahead and give it a try. We're hoping this all works. If not, I have a plan B. And can someone tell me, did it pop up? Yeah. By the way, you don't have to write full words and sentences, or you can just put they do this, they do that, whatever you think the abuse part is. And what I'll do is I'll give you about 2 minutes. By the way, even if you don't work in customer service, will you please participate? Because I'm sure you have opinions, right? I'm sure everybody in the room has an opinion about what an abusive customer looks or sounds like. So everyone participate. Oh, there you go. I bow down to you. Nancy. Yes. Thank you, Nancy. Oh, I could stand here all day. All right. By the way, there's no right or wrong answers. Please don't stress about right or wrong. Put what's in your mind, in your heart, Put the human part of you here. Everyone talks about the human part, right? Verbal aggression. Oh. Irony. Ooh, irony. There's too many smart people in this room. Really, irony, yeah. And then someone will tell me the Greek word origin of irony, because clearly it comes from Greek, right? So, yeah. Manipulating. Okay, I'm going to have some water. I'll keep my eye on the time here. Yeah, okay. Key away. Key away. If in doubt, talk to the person next to you. Oh, yeah, I will write in social media. I hear this one a lot. I have to remember the timer goes down. Yeah. I know the CEO happens in every country on the planet, okay? Even companies that don't have a CEO. Yeah, it happens. Yeah. So, or you're one of those dogs. Didn't we see dogs and things? Yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying. You're probably enjoying this as much as I am. Yeah. Insulting language, bad language. Doing okay? Yeah. Give you another 30 seconds or so. No time pressure, but we've got our time slot here. So. Scream. Karen, my goodness. Yeah. Talk about cultural. Do you know who I am? That's one of my favorites. Yeah, okay. There's irony again. I think it's looping. Yeah. Oh, what refunds? Or maybe more than one. LinkedIn, yeah. Okay. 5 more seconds. Thank you very much for doing this. You get to do it again. Hold on. Nancy, do you mind giving me my slides back? I feel so powerful here. Yeah. Ooh, did you see? That's great. Okay. Can we debrief abusive? All right. The first thing, and you can assume I'm sharing this with customer service people, as I do, honestly, nearly every week or every other week. This is the single most popular customer service course we run. The word abuse is a very serious word. Please do not use this word lightly. Do not throw it around. It's not a casual word. It involves safety, your physical safety or your emotional safety. And so I kind of use what I call the security guard test. So here's the security guard test. Let's pretend I am a bank teller. I'm working in a bank face to face. I have a counter and I'm serving customers across the counter. And in the corner, we have the security guard to make sure we're all safe. Would I call the security guard? Are you ready? Security, security. Dan, are you okay? Are you okay? Yeah, she made fun of my haircut. Would you call the security guard for that? Maybe some of you, but that's a different problem, right? No, probably not, right? Okay, so that's probably not an abusive situation. You're not in, physical or emotional danger. Let me do another one. Security, security. Yeah, Dan, are you okay? Yeah, she used red font in her email. Now, stop and think. You want to check with each other? Is this abuse, red font in an email? Check with your neighbor. Turn to them. Yes, that's abuse. When our email or correspondence team get red font, they're being abused. Or they're not. Can you just check with your neighbor? Take a second. Yeah. Because it's very easy to judge and laugh. I do too. But I will tell you this. Over years and years and years of working with email teams and correspondence teams and live chat teams, nearly every time I meet them, somebody's going to say red font means we are being abused. Can I tell you another thing they tell me? Exclamation points. And they even have a number. 3 or more exclamation points, I'm being abused. Now, the point here, and I learned this even as I see the list go by, is different people have completely different opinions about what abuse is. There's not a standardized approach to this. Some people think that if you tell someone, I'm going to talk to your CEO, that they're being abused. But would you call the security guard for that? Security, security. They're going to tell my boss I'm really dumb. So let's talk a little bit more about this. I think it's important. Abuse is a violation of safety, physical or emotional. There are options. In the customer service world, there have been options for 30 or 40 years. In the call center, phone world, and live chat world, you disconnect. You have what's called an exit script. Nearly every company I work with in the world has some kind of exit script. Here's what it sounds like. Sir, if you continue to speak to me in that manner, I will have to disconnect the conversation. That's been around 30 or 40 years. Because big bosses say, Dan, we don't want our staff to be abused. For face-to-face, what do? Security, security. And we once had a receptionist in one of our courses, and she said, Dan, I did experience abuse. The customer threw something at her, which is clearly physically bad. She went around the corner. She said, I looked for the biggest person in the office and brought him out. And that was her way of feeling protected. I think it's the second point that's often the eye-opener. Just because we don't like something doesn't make it abuse. When someone taps on the counter, I don't like it. When someone cuts me off, I don't like it. When someone threatens me with my boss, I don't like it. When someone tells me they're going to post on social media, I don't like it. But is that abuse? Abuse is a very serious word. So leaders define abuse, and I would like to give you a couple of examples. We work a lot in Australia, and one organization we work with is their court system. And in the court system in Australia, they have a zero tolerance policy for vulgarity. One vulgar word, they roll out the exit script. One. And they will say, if you continue to speak to me in the manner, I will disconnect. But also in Australia, we work with Deluxe. And Deluxe manufactures paint. And they sell that paint to contractors. And so when we work with Deluxe on this exact same topic, they said, Dan, we could never do what the court system does. First off, welcome to Australia. This is how we speak. Second off, we're dealing with contractors. That's how they speak. If we hung up on everybody that had one vulgar word, we wouldn't have any calls at all because we would have hung up on all of them. So our definition of abuse is not the same as the court system's definition of abuse. There is no industry standard. Be a little bit careful here about this. You have to look at who you are, who you serve, but you also have to decide what's physical or emotional danger. Last story on this, we had a CEO sit in this course. And at this part of the course, he said, Dan, can you stop talking for a minute? And I said, sure. And he said, team, I want to reiterate something to you. I want to say something to you. First off, thanks for being in the class. Dan's right. We don't want you to go through abuse. We never have. But I realize we have probably neglected to define it for you, haven't we? So I make a commitment to you. I was blown away. I make a commitment to you that when we go back, we will work on this. We will come up with a definition of abuse that will protect you. And everyone was so appreciative. Yeah. Now, I have another quiz or Slido for you. Let me read the question first, Nancy, all right? Out of 100 interactions, now if you work in the front line or manage people working in the front line, just think of your last 100 calls, 100 emails, 100 chats. Out of 100, how many would fall into the abuse category the way I've defined it today? Please use Slido, but for this, just drop a number. If you think it's 3 out of 100, put 3. If you think it's 17 out of 100, put 17. If you think it's 53 out of 100, put 53. If you think it's 100 out of 100, I'm calling the ambulance for you right now. Yeah, just drop the number directly into the Slido. Oh, here we go. Oh, sorry, I talked too much. I'm fast. I never know what's going to come up. I never. This is, yep. Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that. We'll be okay. We'll just do another 10 seconds or so, but you're seeing some very interesting numbers, aren't you? Nancy, can you bring the screen back up for me? Let me give you the answer here. I've asked this question for 20 years. 20 years, no matter where I am, who I'm working with. Can I tell you what the most common range is? 0 to 3. Some people say 0.75. Some people say, I can't even remember the last time. Some people say, yeah, I had one last week. It was terrifying. Because that's what strikes us. It's not just the quantity. It's the impact on the person. 0 to 3. Now, one other caution for you on this. Different industries will have slightly different rates, but typically in customer service and tech support, 0 to 3. Let me give you an industry outside of customer service and tech support. Police force. We work with call centers at the police force, and they will say, Dan, 0 to 3, that's not even close. We are in law enforcement. The rate is much higher. If you work with prison systems, the rate is much higher. If you work with drug and alcohol rehabilitation clinics, the rate is much higher. Those people get special training to deal with those. But it's not the same as customer service / tech support. So 0 to 3. I'm not telling you that's the industry standard. I'm just telling you that even the people that attend the class will tell me, now it makes sense. All right, let's do one more category. Yep, one more category. Oops, I seem to be going the wrong way again. Won't be the first time I've done it. Okay. Irritating customers. Pull out your Slido. Here's your question. What behaviors do irritating customers bring in the world? By the way, they exist. I will never trick you. If you see the word irritating, it means I believe they exist. Nancy's brought it up already. Thank you. And key away. And don't worry about right or wrong. What are those behaviors that irritating customers bring into the world? Oh, here we go. Yeah. You can always tell the level of experience in the room by the answers that you get. The answers that you get here. Oh, yeah. Making weird faces. Oh, that's a new one. I've never seen that before. Oh, thank you. You're really making my day. I can't wait to sit down and shut these down. Arrogant. Don't listen. Yep. Asking the same thing over and over is definitely in the top 10. Yeah, or if not top 5. Yeah. Okay. Carry on. We'll shorten this one a little bit on behalf of James here. So just take another few seconds of input. But I love these answers. Some of them I've seen before, some of them I haven't. Okay, Nancy, I'm going to go back to the deck. Thank you very much. Here we go. Let's debrief this. First off, what irritates me does not irritate him. What irritates Robert is not what irritates her. Irritations are super personal. They belong to you. Don't assume the things that irritate you irritate somebody else. If somebody taps on the counter, that drives me nuts. Someone else, you say, tapping on the counter doesn't bother me at all. That's the first thing to realize is it's personal. This is the big question for the people. I'll say, but have these customers done anything wrong? Yes, they're driving you crazy, but have they done anything wrong? Can I ask you to turn to the person next to you and say, yeah, wrong, or no, not wrong. You say it however you want, yeah? What do you think? Turn to your neighbor. Have they done anything wrong by being irritating? It's an interesting question, especially when you're in quote-unquote customer, can I add the word service, right? We are in customer service, yeah? And the answer, there are always outliers, by the way, but the answer 98 times out of 100 is no, Dan, they haven't done anything wrong. What their behavior drives me nuts, but I'm not here to correct them. I'm here to serve them. And I think learning to work with irritating people is not only part of the job, I think it's a life skill. Because even in this audience, there are super irritating people. I haven't met you yet, but I'm sure you're out there, right? Okay. I say this to my frontline folks sometimes. Forgive me for pressing the wrong button here. Our role isn't to judge other people. Our role is to serve them. You don't have a job description that says Chief Customer Judge. Your job description typically says customer service. So where did the judge part come into this? It's a bit strange. One more Slido for you. Out of 100, you know how this goes, how many irritating? By the way, it's more than abusive. There's a tip. It's more than 0 to 3. But please key in the number. Out of 100, oh, very nice. Out of 100, this is super. Thank you for making this work. It really helps, yeah? Don't worry, 2 participants are typing. Yeah, great. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You don't see me surprised. Yeah. Look at the precision, 49. I admire your precision. Yeah. At least, yeah, with this, okay. Okay, you're playing with me. You ever put 99.5, you're like, oh, let's just mess with him a little bit, see how he reacts. Yeah. Okay, Nancy, we're done with Slido. You can pop it back up. You ready for me to tell you? 20 years I've asked this question. The most common range is 20 to 30. Sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes it's a little bit less, but interestingly, it has not changed over the years. Because what irritates you stays as what irritates you. Very interesting here. If someone had said 99.5, I really don't think you're dealing with 99.5 irritating. I think we need to look at our own perspective. But you knew that already. So, all right. I want to close by sharing, this is the quote I like to share with the frontline folks after they go through some work like this. I wish I could tell you it gets better. I wish the simpler inquiries might still be around. I wish the situations weren't as complex and emotional as they become, and they're probably only going to become more so. But hey, it's not going to get better. You're going to get better. And then because this is a room full of leaders, can I say this? I think one of our responsibilities, one, as a leader is to help our people get better. And that's why I called this presentation Devotion in the Era of AI. So thank you very much. Yeah.